Under the buzzing fluorescent lights of Save More, Rachel Palmer stifled a yawn. She had 3 hours left on her shift, and her feet already ached from standing at Register 4 since noon. Outside, a November rain drizzled against the wide windows, turning the parking lot into a shimmering mosaic of puddles reflecting the store's bright neon signs. Paper or plastic? Rachel asked automatically, her fingers dancing across the scanner with effortless precision. The young mother in front of her juggled a fussy toddler while digging for coupons from a stuffed wallet. Plastic is fine, the woman mumbled, bouncing the child on her hip. And could you double bag? Last time they tore in the parking lot. Of course, Rachel said with a kind smile. Small acts of courtesy were her specialty. Double bagging, handling fragile items gently, waiting patiently while elderly customers counted change. She did the things others in her position often overlooked. The store had grown quiet. Tuesday nights were always slow, and the dreary weather didn't help. Rachel checked her watch. 8:47 p.m. Most cashiers have been sent home already, leaving just her and Matt over at Register 2, lazily scrolling his phone between customers. The automatic doors whooshed open with a gust of cold air. Rachel looked up to see an older man shuffle in, rain dripping from his battered coat. A faded baseball cap with Vietnam veteran stitched in gold adorned his head. His beige jacket hung off a wiry frame, and deep lines carved across his face spoke of hard years. Rachel watched him as he moved slowly through the aisles, examining price tags, occasionally returning items to the shelves after studying the costs. There was something in his methodical pace, the quiet way he mouthed numbers to himself as he mentally added up a total, that tugged at her. Soon after, another man entered. He looked unkempt, with a stained work jacket and worn jeans. He kept his head down, grabbing a basket and disappearing down the cereal aisle. Rachel barely noticed. Save More saw all kinds, especially this late. 20 minutes passed. The veteran approached a register. Rachel noted the tremor in his hands as he placed a loaf of bread, peanut butter, soup, milk, bananas, and a small package of ground beef on the belt. "Evening, sir," Rachel greeted warmly. "Evening, ma'am," he replied, voice soft with the gravelly edge of a lifelong smoker. "Did you find everything you needed?" "I think so. Prices sure are climbing." "They really are," Rachel agreed as she scanned his modest selection. From a nearby magazine rack, the scruffy man lingered, flipping through a fishing magazine and occasionally glancing up. Rachel took little notice. "That'll be $28.75, she announced. The veteran, whose name she would later learn was Thomas Riley, pulled a worn wallet from his back pocket, retrieved a debit card, and handed it over. Rachel swiped it. The machine beeped and flashed red. Declined. Thomas frowned. "Let me try again. Maybe I hit something wrong." Behind him, a small line had formed. A man in a tailored coat checked his watch impatiently, and a teenage couple whispered with annoyance. "Could you hurry it up?" the businessman snapped. Rachel ignored him. She swiped the card again. Declined. Thomas's shoulders sagged. "I am sorry. I thought my check cleared. Just the bread and peanut butter then." The businessman sighed theatrically. The teen girl giggled. Rachel didn't hesitate. Reaching under the counter, she pulled out her debit card. "It's taken care of, sir," she said gently. Thomas blinked. "I can't let you do that. We have a veterans discount program," she lied quietly, to preserve his dignity. "It's on the house tonight." Tears welled in Thomas's cataract-clouded eyes. "Thank you. Not many would. Thank you. What's your name, young lady?" "Rachel," she replied, handing him his bags. "Thomas Riley. 20 years in the Army. I won't forget this." As Thomas exited, the businessman rolled his eyes. Finally, from behind the magazine rack, the unkempt man watched intently. He wasn't judging. He was observing. Unbeknownst to Rachel, she had just been watched by Daniel Blake, the CEO of Save More Incorporated, 3 weeks into his undercover mission to investigate declining performance across stores. The next morning dawned clear and cold. Rachel rushed in, clutching coffee, running 2 minutes late. She still worried about the $28 she'd spent, money earmarked for her electric bill. But it had been worth it. Then the intercom crackled. Rachel Palmer, report to the manager's office. Murmurs followed her down the aisles. She knocked on the frosted door, labeled Cheryl Maddox, store manager. Enter, came the clipped voice. Cheryl sat behind her desk, silver hair pulled into a tight bun. An open folder and USB drive lay before her. Seat. Rachel complied. Cheryl turned her monitor. It showed security footage of Rachel swiping her card for Thomas. Explain. He didn't have enough, and I paid with my own card. You said it was a store promotion, only to spare his pride. You misrepresented company policy. Section 19.2 forbids unapproved discounts. It wasn't a discount. I paid. Irrelevant. You said it was on the store. What if he returns expecting the same? Rachel fought back tears. That's unfair. You're suspended. Effective immediately. 2 weeks, unpaid. Rachel left in a blur, tears clouding her vision. She explained to Diane from the deli, who whispered, "That's insane." In the break room, Diane pinned up a collection envelope, support for Rachel Palmer. By noon, it held $87. Meanwhile, Daniel Blake reviewed footage of the previous night from his office, a storm brewing in his expression. He called an emergency executive meeting. This cashier, Rachel Palmer, acted with integrity. She was punished for compassion. That ends now. The next morning, Save More store number 88 buzzed with rumors. Cheryl Maddox called an all-staff meeting. As she began to speak, the break room door swung open. In walked Daniel Blake, impeccably dressed, followed by a camera crew. Cheryl faltered. "Mr. Blake? We weren't informed." "Precisely." He addressed the room. "3 nights ago, I watched an employee act with grace and dignity. That employee is being reinstated." Gasps. Rachel's name rippled through whispers. "MS. Maddox." Daniel turned. "Your leadership ends here." Cheryl was stunned silent. Daniel continued. "Rachel Palmer will join corporate as Director of Community Engagement. She embodies what this company should stand for." 6 months later, Rachel led Save More's New People First initiative. Each store received training on compassion-driven service, emergency funds were established, and a framed receipt of $28.75 hung in headquarters. A quiet reminder that kindness, even when costly, returns the richest rewards.